What people need to know about Lockhart is that it's pretty much, it's very much an artificial grouping. It's what's left of all the clans from pretty much all that section of the Cape, all pushed into the one place. So it's no wonder that they don't always get along. But I tell you what, I've seen Lockhart in the old days and I've seen it now. And to my mind, there seems to be a lot more hope and a lot more good things happening in Lockhart than there are bad. I'm going to see if I can find a mate of mine who lives in town here. He's an islander and he knows pretty much everything that happens in Lockhart. And we need to find this bomb blast site. And I think the only way to do that is to find someone who knows everything that's going on around here. Excuse me, mate. Just further down. Hey, mate. The funny thing was that by the time we'd driven around, I'd met that many people that I kind of half knew, and then, you know, we wound up talking to half the town anyway. Hey guys, I got a bit of information from the locals there at Lockhart about this Operation Blowdown. I think we should be able to find the site.
Yeah, cool, mate. What's the story behind it?
I think it's post-World War II, the Australian Army trying to work out what sort of damage a nuclear explosion would do in the real world. But they didn't want to let off a nuke, so they let off 50 tonnes of TNT, and they did it here.
I'd never heard of Operation Blowdown. Places you go to around Australia, there's history everywhere. And it was good that we sought out the history on this area in Operation Blowdown.
Oh, look at this. I just felt this when I ran over it. And it's a great big hunk of, well, maybe it's not armour plating, but it's very close. Whatever it is, it's pretty solid and it shouldn't be here, which is a nice way of saying this is it. You know, there's a mound in the middle of this paddock that shouldn't be there. I reckon we need to have a look here, eh? Oh, guys, look at this. That's called a great big piece of steel. And, oh, there's more over there.
So that's the frame of the blow.
Wow. Back in the early 1960s, America was going into the Vietnamese War. And the biggest problem they had was that they were fighting guerrillas who used to hide in the jungle.
Beneath a cloak of green, a tropical rainforest conceals many secrets.
And I think something like 60 or 70% of Vietnam was covered in dense rainforest jungle, exactly like this stuff rimming this site here. Now, the Americans were keen to find out what they could do to clear that jungle so they could get to the enemy. And so they experimented, or they wanted to experiment, with a low-grade atomic bomb that would clear the whole area.
What effect would a nuclear explosion have on a tropical rainforest?
But they approached the Australian government because they didn't have any rainforests like that other than Hawaii. And the Australian government said, okay, we'll go along with it, but we don't want to use an atomic bomb. So to recreate that, they decided to use 50 tonnes of TNT.
Authorities were unwilling to use an actual nuclear explosion, so an alternative had to be devised.
And they built it to simulate an atomic blast, which means they built it into a tower right here. And into the jungle all the way around here, they had field guns and they had dummies representing people and they had, you know, other bits and pieces of apparel, all sorts of things, rain tanks, and then they exploded it.
Alpha, request permission to commence countdown, over.
Sunray, go ahead, over.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, I can tell you one thing that didn't survive, and that's the vegetation. It got shredded. This whole great big open area now is pretty much what that bomb took out. And there's corridors you can see where they cleared them with bulldozers and just left particular types of trees standing. This was a truly scientific explosion. And to come here now and to know this history and to find the actual epicentre. I'm sitting on one of the beams that would have supported that tower. This to me is just fantastic because as much as anything, for a great big part of my life I've been driving right past it. I never knew it was here. We're just surrounded by history in our country and we don't even know about it.